Hi everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news as we talk about Ten Hag laying down the law on the training ground and also within the club itself. Ten Hag hasn't really had the exposure he probably deserves as the new Manchester United manager over recent weeks, as we've been submerged and drowned really by the negativity that Manchester United have caused in the transfer window. But there are some real positives around Erik Ten Hag as he desperately tries to avert this transfer window shambles, I suppose, and build Manchester United. And let's not forget, Ten Hag is trying to rebuild Manchester United. So we've got some stuff from the training ground and what's going on at the club and what Erik Ten Hag's doing to talk about on this afternoon show, because I think we need to put a bit of attention on the manager. But also we've got some updates on Dybala, Robbie, Martinez, De Jong, and a few others as well that have come in from after this morning's show. Rob Dawson, a few Spanish reports as well. So we'll get into all of that. But look, let's start off about Erik Ten Hag. I'm sure you've seen all the clips of the little passing techniques, and some people have compared them to Ajax. And I think Samuel Luckhurst actually this morning came out with something we'd been speaking about a couple of weeks ago about why Torres was second choice and now we're going for Lisandro Martinez. And mainly, this is down to Erik Ten Hag. Now look, we have had info from the dressing room and from the training ground in the past, and I'm very vocal about leaks from the dressing room. So I don't really want to talk about leaks from the dressing room, but what I do want to talk about is stuff from the training ground. Now you may have remembered last season, I think it was, we had that information in January about how toxic the dressing room was, and it took a bit of time for it to come out. A few other bits, for example, Ronaldo being out injured, we knew that before anybody else. And what I would say about what's going on the training ground is that, and within the wider squad at the moment, is that Erik Ten Hag is really laying down the law. Now, there was a list of things that came out yesterday. You're dropped if you're late for training, no alcohol during the week, during a game week, you eat what the club prepares, not what your personal chef gives you, and if you've got any complaints, you go to Ten Hag and you don't go to the agent. These are more or less true. There's a few other things as well, but what's really important is that some of these clips that we're seeing on the training ground where it's like he's telling people off and everything, well, that's just proper coaching. That is proper coaching. Erik Ten Hag is actually really optimistic and enjoying himself as Manchester United manager. I've mentioned this a few times now. And so are the players. And Manchester United may well be on the brink of God knows what next season. We don't really know. It'd be very hard to predict what we're going to do next season. But Erik Ten Hag is really optimistic about what he's doing as Manchester United manager. Energised, determined, and that is coming across in relation to what is going on the training pitch at the moment as well. So whilst you might see clips where he's shouting at Bruno or maybe McTominay or somebody else, or Maguire doesn't look like he's doing this, or such and such doesn't look like they're doing that, in general, Erik Ten Hag is enjoying what he's doing and the players are enjoying it as well. And the morale in the training group is really good. Now, what I was told is that that's no surprise. It's like when you go on a lad's holiday or on a girl's holiday for a couple of weeks. The first couple of days where you get to your hotel and you start having a few nights out, it's great, isn't it? You're having a great time. It's night 4, 5, 6 when you get a bit fed up of each other and people start falling out. And that's not what's going on at Manchester United at the moment. It's the honeymoon phase. Everybody's trying to impress. Everybody's trying to impress the coach. And the coach is fully aware that everyone's trying to do that. So he's trying to, in this phase where he can, basically has total control, he's ramming home what his principles are. So at the moment, everything at United's good. There is excitement about going on the tour because you're a little bit away from the normal media scrutiny. You get a few games as well. Ten Hag's really excited about playing these games. The results don't really matter. It's about, implementing the way he wants to play against different teams. And obviously the Liverpool side we're going to play on Tuesday is going to be very different to the game we play in a month's time in the league. But it's still an opportunity to play a Liverpool side that plays the clock way, whether he plays the reserves or not. The issues will happen when he starts dropping players in a couple of months and things like that. And Ten Hag's fully aware of that. But at the moment, everybody's on board, everybody's happy, everybody's working hard, everyone's got a smile on their face, including Erik Ten Hag. And he is running that training ground scenario very, very well, and the players are enjoying it. So I wanted to get that out there because I think it's really important that some people think that there may be issues on the training ground, or some people aren't responding to it, or he can't stand this player, he can't stand that player. That's not the case, and there may be a lot of negativity around the way Manchester United are working at the moment. No McDonald's for sure, says SK United. Welcome to the Members Club, Lee and Connor. Thank you very much for joining. But look, I think it's always important to be balanced. And yes, this is not going the way we wanted to go in the transfer window. We'll talk about what Ten Hag said about that in a moment. But in the very core training early season that's going on with the players and the coaches at the moment, it is smile on your face, it is excitement, it is positive. You might not like that. Some people want a bit of negativity, but I said the other day, Ten Hag's really enjoying it. A lot of the players are really enjoying it. That's where we are at the moment. If we get smacked up by Liverpool in a month's time, things will change. But as of now, there is an optimism, there is a positivity. What I was told is that nobody can really read Ten Hag at the moment. It's hard to tell what he's thinking about certain players because everybody's getting an arm round the shoulder. Everyone's being taken aside. You might have seen some of the clips where he's chatting with James Garner or Rashford or Donny or someone else like that. Everybody's getting that at the moment. It's really hard. What I was told, it's really hard to tell if he likes players or he doesn't, because at the moment he's just been he's been a coach. He's giving everybody feedback. And of course, some people will be getting feedback to take away and leave United with. Some of them will be getting feedback to take away on loan. Some of them will be getting feedback because you're going to be part of the future. But they're not being told that. He's not taking Wan-Bissaka aside and saying, I'm selling you, but this will improve your game over the next few years. Nobody really knows what's going on at the moment. So, look, that's what's happening on the training ground, and it's positive. Whether people like that or not, it is. Just on Wan-Bissaka, by the way, funny, this morning something came out about a right back. Remember, we've been talking about this for a very long time. Dumfries is the right back that Erik Ten Hag wants. He wants a right back. He's got a left back. He wants a right back. Now, what I've been told is that Delo will stay, Dumfries will come in, Wan-Bissaka will go, and that United and Wan-Bissaka are relatively confident that that's going to happen. Now, why would they be relatively confident that's going to happen if there isn't some... I think there's something in place for Wan-Bissaka. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know whether it's an offer. I don't know whether it's a loan. But I think something's in place for Wan-Bissaka. So let's just watch out and see what happens with that one, because it's looking relatively positive. So, there you go. That's the update from the training ground. Players are enjoying the drills. Ten Hag is enjoying getting things on. But he is keeping his cards close to his chest at the moment. There are certain players who just don't know what the future is. They're just enjoying it. We'll find out, obviously, over the next coming weeks. But sticking with Ten Hag, it's not just about listen to me on the training ground. It's not just his demands on the training ground. It's not just trying to get... And what Ten Hag is trying to do here as well is on the training ground. He's trying to implement the principles that will take us through the season. Because once the season starts, it's difficult to get principles in, which is why Rangnick really struggled. He wants to get core principles in place that will carry on through the season. This is how we do our drills. We're on time. We do this, we do that, we do this, we do that. And that's what he's trying to do. It's structure. It's efficiency. It's technique. It's the whole package. And at the moment, the players are enjoying it. Let's hope that can continue. On to transfers, taking it away from where everything's positive at the moment, onto something a little bit more real, I suppose. Mark, I turned 24 today. Thanks for your videos. Happy birthday, Jack. Do you think these players under Ten Hag will finally break the mould of backstabbing and talking behind the manager's back, says Matthew Smith? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, I don't want to bring the mood down, but absolutely not. These players are surrounded by bad influences. And not all of them. Some of them are. They are not going to go to training in the morning, smile and be happy with Ten Hag, and then not go and talk to these people who are telling them, you're great, why is this happening, why is that happening? We've got a lot of egos in football. We've got a lot of egos at Man United. The problem will come when some of these players get dropped. Simple as that. Do you have one shirt, Mark? I haven't worn this shirt for about 2 weeks, Jad. But you know what? I'm not David Beckham. I don't change my trainers and pants every day. I wash them, iron them and wear them again. You know, we're not all loaded. Anyway, let me get on to this. Ten Hag, transfers. So we know what's going on in the training ground. In relation to transfers, Samuel Lucas put this out this morning in the Manchester Evening News. He's absolutely spot on. We spoke about this a couple of weeks ago ourselves. Why was it that in relation to the centre-back, and Lisandro Martinez is now going to be the player that United sign, expecting deal done on that any minute. Not any minute, but you know what I mean. How did we go from May, where it was Timber Torres, to Lisandro Martinez? How did that happen? And as they said in the Manchester Evening News this morning, as we've been speaking about for the last couple of weeks, why that happened is this. Timber was first choice. Ajax, he knows him, he wanted him, that was his number one choice. It didn't happen. We'll never know why. Probably because Van Gaal changed his mind, because before that international duty, we'd even negotiated with the agents. But it didn't happen. So why didn't we go for Pau Torres, who wants to leave Villarreal and Villarreal want to sell him? Because, as we've been discussing, Pau Torres was not what Erik ten Hag wanted. Pau Torres was what Man United scouts suggested. So there's been a few players, Calvin Phillips was another one, that Man United have spent the last 6 months scouting vigorously for players to join Man United this summer. But Erik ten Hag doesn't agree with any of them. And one of them was Pau Torres. And he said, no, I want Lisandro Martinez. So the club put Pau Torres forward, just like Pau Torres was there a year ago under Ollie, but we went for Varane. The club put Pau Torres forward because they'd scouted him before and they felt he was good enough. Erik ten Hag said, no, I don't want Pau Torres, I want Lisandro Martinez. The club have backed him, which is the right thing to do, and Erik ten Hag has got what he wanted, which is the right thing to do. So for me, this is a real big positive. We know what's going on in the training ground, as I've just said, but in the transfer window, this is really important. And before we get into the latest news as well around transfers, it is very important to dwell on this for a moment. Welcome to the Members Club, Leonardo, because we have had managers in the past who've been overruled. We have had managers in the past who've been told no. Erik ten Hag basically said, no, I don't want Pau Torres, I want Lisandro Martinez, and United have gone off and done it. This is a big step forward in relation. I mean, look, they could have got him cheaper if they'd done it quicker, but it is a big step forward, and it's also a big indicator of Erik ten Hag's determination. There's no doubt that Erik ten Hag feels he's having to do a lot more work than he thought he was going to have to do. I don't think he expected the transfer window to go like this. He was fully prepared for the first training session on June the 27th. In fact, the team came back a little bit early. He's been ready. He wants to get on the training ground. But there is a determination and a frustration there that he hasn't got the players in yet that he wanted, because every day he hasn't got the players. If you think about it, if you're managing Man United and you're training a team and you haven't got the midfielder you want to build the midfield around, and you haven't got the centre-back who's going to teach your centre-backs how to play, yes, you're training, you can drill, you can work on passing things, but there is a hunger to start getting the team implemented in the way that he wants to play on that opening game of the season in the Premier League in a month's time. So, but, as I say, he is very demanding, Erik ten Hag, and he has made it very, very clear that if they bought Pau Torres, it wasn't what he wanted. And at the end of the day, that is why we're not going to get Pau Torres. That is why we're going for Lisandro Martinez. So he's not just being demanding on the training ground, he is being demanding in relation to transfers, which then leads on to something that Rob Dawson's just spoke about. United should look into CONCACAF for quick quality bench options. There has to be unknown studs like Chicharito, says Jonathan. Hi, Mark from India, says Salong. Thank you very much. Welcome, mate. Can I just say as well to the members, just before we move on from centre-backs, if you are a member, the video's gone out. It went out at midday. It's on the channel. It's exclusively for the members. We do one every week. It's Lisandro Martinez, deep dive stats, comparing his stats last year to Varane, Maguire and Lindelof. Really interesting. Really enjoyed it. Obviously, some of you know about the aerial thing already, but there's a few other stuff in there. Make sure you check it out if you're a member. If you want to be a member, click the join button. It's at the top of the live chat as well. So, moving seamlessly from how Ten Hag is operating on the training ground, how the players are receiving that, how he's operating in the transfer market, and how the director of football and everybody's receiving that. Obviously, Erik ten Hag wasn't over the moon with the recommendations of Manchester United scouts. Now, we got rid of a couple of scouts, didn't we, back in March, I think, or maybe it was April. He's not been impressed by what they've presented to him, and he's basically had to say, no, let's do this. Hence, Lisandro Martinez from Ajax, De Jong, formerly of Ajax, Eriksen, formerly training with Ajax, Anthony of Ajax, Malacia of the Eredivisie, and now Dumfries, also Dutch, and Brobby of Leipzig, formerly of Ajax. So this is why we're getting all these signings. And it's becoming a bit of a running joke. I see people on social media, I see people in the chat talking about it. Rob Dawson has actually said today in his latest article of ESPN that Manchester United are hopeful of doing a deal with Leipzig for 20 million euros for Brian Brobby. We spoke about this last night. Welcome to Members Club, Monkey. Thank you very much for joining. So yeah, look, we'll have to wait and see. And Simon, welcome as well. Look, Brian Brobby is not... I keep wanting to say Mr. Blobby. I know, I'm such a child. Brian Brobby... will Martinez be a starter or a squad player, says Berry? I don't know. I can't answer that question. I can't answer that question. I would hope if you spend £40 million on a player that can play the way you want to play, you pick them. I would hope that Lisandro Martinez will start, but we need him training. The problem we're going to have is that in the long term, De Jong starts, Antony starts, Lisandro Martinez I think starts. But if they're not in until a week before the first game of the season, they won't play. It's the same as last season, isn't it? Varane wasn't ready for the start of the season. Sancho wasn't ready for the start of the season. So that's the problem. And do remember that. It's a big warning for Manchester United. At the start of last season, we didn't have Varane and Sancho for various reasons, and we should have done. So look, we can all talk about whether they're going to be a starter. The game that matters is the first game of the season. And at the moment, if you're Scott McTominay or Harry Maguire or Luke Shaw or Marcus Rashford or any other player that's place might be in jeopardy by these new signings, you're very comfortable. You've been training for a week. You're going to play in all the pre-season games. Very unlikely you're getting dropped for a new signing that's not even here yet. So, you know, that's what the team is in October is going to be very different maybe to what the team is on the opening day. Thoughts on how the midfield will be structured next season? Struggling to see how we're going to line up, says Jamie. Well, as of today, it'll be McTominay and Fred. We really haven't got anybody else. Lee, welcome. Thank you very much for the super chat. Welcome XXX. Thank you for joining the members club. De Jong wants United, but he's owed £20 million for a loyalty bonus. He says, I want to leave, he won't get it, which is why Laporta keeps saying we don't want to sell him so they don't pay the 20 million bonus, says Brad. Brad, you should do the show. Anyway, let's talk about what Rob Dawson said. Manchester United in for Brian Brobby, and they're confident they can do a deal. Obviously, this is a Ten Hag deal. 100%. This is Ten Hag saying go and get him. It's endorsed by Ten Hag. It's what Ten Hag thinks is good enough. I can see both sides here. I can see the people that are saying, come on, this is getting silly now. Another bloody Ajax player that he's managed before being brought in. How many of them is he going to do? They're not all going to be a success. On the other hand, you need to bring a player in at short notice for not a lot of money. How many players are there out there that you can go and get for 15 million who's a striker, who's young and up and coming? So you can see both sides, really. It'd be interesting to see if we actually do the deal with Brian Brobby. But Rob Dawson says that, you know, we are in talks with Leipzig. Hi, Mark. If we're linked to all these players, surely our budget is big enough. Well, we'll know how big our budget is, Said, when we actually get to August the 31st. Do you think Martinez will be deployed as a CDM? No, Jeff, I don't. And what, can I just say this as well, Jeff? You are a member. You've been a member for 3 months. Watch the video that's just gone up an hour ago about Martinez compared to Maguire and Varane. Because you're saying, I think he'll be a CDM because he's too small for the Premier League. You need to have a look at how the player plays because you're going to be pleasantly surprised that his height really isn't a problem. Hey Mark, worried about a last-ditch effort from Chelsea for De Jong, says Job. And Martinez is overrated anyway. He would be back up to White and Gabriel, says Saint Massey. Arsenal fans getting a bit concerned. So look, let's have a look at what else Rob Dawson said. He said that in relation to Paulo Dybala, it feels a little bit like since the deal fell through for Inter Milan that his agents are trying to get him attached to Premier League clubs, including Manchester United. What I was told, and I mentioned it this morning about Dybala, Man United may well try and do a deal there, but certainly it's not somebody that Erik Ten Hag recommended. So it might become somebody we get, but I think there is an element of the agent trying to find a deal, and when you're trying to find a deal, Man United's always a team that gets mentioned. Of course it is, and more interestingly, just take it back to De Jong. I mean, we're always talking about De Jong. Get your yawns ready. Mine's ready. I can feel a yawn coming on already. But Rob Dawson in the same article said that there is uncertainty at Old Trafford over whether a deal for De Jong can be done. Now, I think Rob Dawson has been relatively decent this summer. He's a bit like James Robson, who has spoken about the Ronaldo, which we'll talk about in a minute. But that's an interesting line from Rob Dawson's ESPN article to say that Manchester United, there is uncertainty at Old Trafford over whether a Frenkie de Jong deal can be done. Because I can tell you now, I've not had any really good information about de Jong for a few weeks now, but a few weeks ago, there was confidence at Old Trafford that they would get de Jong. I think things are changing around de Jong. I would remain 90% sure. I don't see how we don't get this deal done. But I don't think the confidence is there that there was a few weeks ago. Now, that might be the uncertainty at Old Trafford, maybe just that the confidence has sapped away a little bit and they're becoming as tired of it as we are. I definitely think in mid-June, United thought this deal would be done by now, long by now. I think they thought he would have been in by Monday at the latest. And obviously, there's still no clarity or deadline on when this deal is going to happen. So I think the uncertainty at Old Trafford doesn't mean the deal's not going to happen. I just think it's not gone to plan, and therefore they're probably getting as frustrated and as tired as we are. Glazers don't want to lose Maguire as they don't have to pay for internet as his head acts as the big satellite, says Luke. That's a bit headist, Luke. It's not very nice. The members video on Martinez is shocking. I wasn't that excited about him before, but now think he could be a game changer. I thought you, Ben. I thought you said it. I thought you were going to say it was crap. I was getting very angry. I was going to go, Ben. No, I wasn't really. But I think you mean it. Yeah. Well, look, check it out if you remember. It is shocking in a good way. It's well worth a watch. Adibola, welcome to Members Club. Johnny, welcome to Members Club. And hi, Mark. With Dumfries and Malacia attacking wing backs, Martinez and Varane defence, we're sorted. Mikhail, it's probably, if we did manage to bring a right back in, and we do get Martinez in, I'm actually really excited about what the back four is going to do. I'm interested to see what De Gea is going to do as well. It's a massive season for De Gea. And look, let's not forget, Maguire will probably play, but I think Maguire's slightly better as a right-sided centre-back as a right footer anyway. I think Maguire gets himself into a lot of problems because he thinks he's a left-sided centre-back, and actually it's never that comfortable to play on your non-natural foot. So, look, I'm excited to see what the defence could do. And it all starts on Tuesday. I mean, look, just a quick reminder as well. I was looking at this myself. We've got 2 watch-alongs next week. Tuesday at 2 o'clock we're playing Liverpool, and Friday we're in Melbourne playing as well. So, you know, it's going to start kicking off a lot. And I think this is why you've got to be worried when you're on tour about signing players. Some of you will be the same as me. We've done this for years. We don't normally buy players on tour. I think we're going to have to try and buy players on tour this year, but we don't normally do a lot on tour. We don't normally sell and we don't normally buy on tour. And the reason for that is we're actually only on tour for just over 2 weeks. We're back in England a fortnight on Monday. And you're playing a game every 3 or 4 days, and with press conferences and everything like that, you know, everything's on that. Plus, most of Man United's staff go on tour, whether it's social media, communications, chief executives, directors of football. A lot of them do go on tour. Now, I don't know what the situation is. I doubt Richard Arnold's going on the tour, but I presume Darren Fletcher is technical director. So, look, you know, this is why it can go quiet. We are the richest club in London, says Zayn Miassi. Neymar is good mates with Gabriel. He could join us down the line as we're a bigger club than PSG. Zayn, you remind me of Kev and the window cleaner at Old Trafford. The window cleaner's told... Remember when Kev used to come on and say, the window cleaner's told me that... David De Gea is going to sign a new contract because he looked through a window and saw it. Maybe Ten Hag is going for players he knows because he can trust them. 100% Cam. And whether you're comfortable or not, of course there's an element of risk. But if you go into a job and you take the job and you need to recruit new staff because the staff you've got aren't good enough, and the CEO says, this is our list, and you go, I don't like them, well, what are you going to do? Well, I'll have to get some people in I know then. It's not ideal, but... you can't scout for new staff when you've got to bring new staff in now. Do we know when Barca return to training? Because I see Frankie back wearing their training gear. That's when I'll lose a lot of hope. I don't know why they're not back in training. I don't know when La Liga starts. It's a great question, Kieran. I'm sure somebody in the chat will know. I haven't kept an eye. I presumed they'd be back in training now because surely their season starts early like ours because of the World Cup. But it's a good point. I think the minute he's back in training, it could become a problem. Good point, Kieran. Robert, welcome to the Members Club. Kevin, thank you very much for being a member for 19 months. He says, if we lose out on De Jong, I'm only worried that United doesn't have a backup plan. Well, we will have a backup plan to De Jong. And I don't want to talk about it, Kevin. We will have a backup plan to De Jong. But it's a bit like wanting a Ferrari, not getting it, and buying a Vauxhall Astra. It drives, but it's not a Ferrari. Maguire and Martinez will complement each other. Maguire will play better with Martinez than Varane, says Shravan. I mean, you're talking out your arse, mate. I mean, you are, in the nicest possible way, you are talking out your arse. Like, where have you figured this out then? Football Manager or FIFA? Maguire and Martinez will be better than Varane and Martinez. I mean, Varane has literally won World Cups and Champions Leagues with different centre-backs. If you... I can't... It's like saying... bloody Rashford's better than Ronaldo, like, or Bruno's better than bloody Messi. It's just Varane is better than Maguire. It's simple as that. There's nobody who can tell me anything different. Varane was injury prone last year. He was injury prone, but he's way better centre back than Maguire. He's still one of the best centre backs in the world. He's won World Cups without Ramos, and he's won Champions Leagues without French defenders. So I think Varane is the most adaptable centre back we've got. I don't think you can say Maguire will work better with Martinez than Varane. Again, it's like saying a Vauxhall Astra will do a quicker lap than a Ferrari Formula 1 car. Like, Varane's issue is his injuries. I will argue with anybody who tells me that they think Maguire or Lindelof are better than Varane as footballers. Where's their medals then? Why did Varane play at Real Madrid and France and win things? He wasn't being carried. Unless I missed something and Barcelona fixed their financials, can they get Lewandowski and still keep De Jong? Sad that I asked the question 8 weeks ago and we're still talking about it, says Andrew Rossi. I don't know that. I don't understand their financial situation. I think you've got to respect Barcelona fans and not stick your nose into something you don't really understand. But I want to come back to that. Erik ten Hag played a false nine at times at Ajax. Dybala as a false nine with Rashford and Sancho. Anthony on the wings could be exciting, says Sean. Predicted lineup for the Liverpool games as HKN. Let's leave that to the weekend and we'll see. But look, going back to this story that Rob Dawson put out, that Manchester United are uncertain around the Frenkie de Jong deal at the moment. Just to bring a bit of context into this, there was a story today coming out of Barcelona that their offer to Leeds is the same as Chelsea. Chelsea want to sign Rafinha, and they can do it now. Rafinha wants to go to Barcelona, but will be happy to go to Chelsea if it falls through. Leeds want the deal done quickly and want to sell to Chelsea. Barcelona have constructed a financial offer that's the same as Chelsea, but they'll be bloody waiting for ages to get that money. Now, I keep saying this, and sometimes Barcelona fans don't like it. This tour squad's been announced. We'll go through that in a minute. I keep saying this all the time. Barcelona are holding this transfer window up. Whether it's Koundé, Lewandowski, who do Bayern go for when Lewandowski's gone? Bernardo Silva from Man City, De Jong to us, Rafinha. There's so many. I mean, sometimes one transfer can start a domino effect. We've seen it before. One player goes from one place and it spirals all around Europe as people buy. Barcelona have got their fingers in so many pies and so many transfers that when they actually when Barcelona say yes to something, sell, buy, then it's going to start a load of stuff off. Maybe Rafinha could be the key to that, because if Barcelona do find the money for Rafinha, then surely they've got to sell to get some money. 4 weeks to go, and we still have Jones, Bailly, Wan-Bissaka, Tellez. There's no way we buy 4 and sell 4 in the next 4 weeks. It's a shambles, says Aram. Hey Mark, does Erik ten Hag not play with the CDM? He plays with the midfield too, Patrick. Chances of De Jong deal like another Sancho. Also, Ten Hag is used to having a director of football. He should have made sure Rangnick stayed before signing the contract, says Soham. I'm not saying they are better than Varane. It's just Varane is injury prone, which I will agree with you on that, Shravan. I do. Naz, welcome to the members club as well. If you think about Erik ten Hag and the way he plays football, look at that. Is there a CDM there? No. You play with your fullbacks going forward. You play with your centre-backs on the halfway line. And you play with your midfield 2 pushing the press. That's how Ten Hag traditionally plays. So you don't have a holding midfield in the sense that you would expect. So as we move on for Frenkie de Jong, let's have a look at this team squad that's out. With Frenkie de Jong, absolutely got no idea. What I would say is the Chelsea story seems to be being driven by Barcelona. That was one thing I wanted to say just very quickly. The Chelsea and the link to De Jong is Barcelona pushing it. Now, whether Chelsea decide they want to do anything about it or not, is up to them. Now, I really do think that it's to do with that. Where can I find the squad? I know Shola Shoretire and Alvaro Fernandez haven't gone because of loan interest. I'm trying to find where the squad is here. Let me just bear with me. So the squad for the tour is out. And just trying to find it for you. I'm sure someone in the chat's going to tell me. I mean, I could just go to the United website, I suppose. God, it's not easy, is it? They don't make it easy. Phil Jones isn't in. Right, I should have just gone to this place in the first place. Man United Twitter. I know what I'll do. I'll get it. I should have just gone to my phone in the first place. Sometimes when you think I've got a better way and you ignore the way that's probably going to take you a few seconds longer to try and be quicker, and then you should have just gone with the... It's like queues, isn't it? Okay, tour squad finally announced. There we go. So, Manchester United's squad is as follows. Man United have named a 31-man travelling squad for tour ahead of the pre-season tour. He's selected his group. It represents a first in total 13 are travelling who have graduated from the academy. So, Garnacho, Iqbal and Charlie Savage are going. There's also places for Garner, Ethan Laird to Heath Chong. Malacia is on the plane. Goalkeepers Bishop, Kova, Palestri are the only men yet to make their competitive first bows. Ronaldo obviously is not going. Phil Jones is following a specialist pre-season programme to ensure he's best prepared for the campaign ahead. Brandon Williams has a small issue and is continuing to work at Carrington. Pereira is afforded a break following his loan with Brazil. So, keepers are as follows. Thank you everyone who's let me know where to look at it. Welcome to the Members Club, Noz, Toby Knowles. Patrick says, does the other CM need to be more defensive then? Who are the options for that position, says Patrick. Well, if we got De Jong, I imagine you could play Fred or McTominay with him. So, De Gea, Heaton, Bishop, Kovar are the goalkeepers. Bailly, I mean, look, I'll read them out and I'll say whether they should be going or not. Bailly, no, should have been sold by now. Delo, yes. Laird, yes. Lindelof, yes. Maguire, yes. Malacia, yes. Shaw, yes. Tellez, no. Twansebi, no. Varane, yes. Wan-Bissaka, yes. So there's 4 defenders, really. I mean, Williams isn't going anyway, but Bailly shouldn't be going. Wan-Bissaka shouldn't be going. Twansebi shouldn't be going. And Tellez shouldn't be going, really. Midfielders, Ahmad, yes. Bruno, yes. Fred, yes. Garner, yes. Hannibal, yes. Iqbal, yes. McTominay, yes. Palestri, yes. Savage, yes. Van der Beek, yes. Got no issues with any of those midfielders at all. Unless somebody was going on a loan, I'm happy with that. Forwards, Chong, yes. Alanga, yes. Garnacho, yes. Martial, yes. Rashford, yes. Sancho, yes. So, yeah. I mean, to be fair, got no issues with that squad at all. It's up to Eric what he decides to do. Malacia is there, yes, young guy. But the midfield's fine. Ahmad, Bruno, Fred, Garner, Hannibal, Iqbal, McTominay, Palestri, Savage, Van der Beek. Forwards, Chong, Alanga, Garnacho, Martial, Rashford, Sancho. Absolutely fine with that. Just defenders. Bailly, Delo, Laird, Lindelof, Maguire, Malacia, Shaw, Tellez, Twansebi, Varane and Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka shouldn't be going. Bailly shouldn't be going. Tellez shouldn't be going. And Twansebi shouldn't be going, really. But, having said that, you've got to take Wan-Bissaka because we've only got 1 right back. Although Ethan Laird's going, so we've got 3 right backs. And we've got 3 left backs. And we've got about 20 centre backs. So, yeah, we need to offload some of these players. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by who's going. I wish we had a few more transfers going. But it is what it is. Maguire is there, yes. Mark, that midfield is scarily weak. How can we be 4 weeks away from the season and that is what we have? I think that's a great point. That midfield is scarily weak in any sense of the word, isn't it? I can't get excited about the new season. I can't forgive having limited talent, but I will never forgive players who down tools, says Stephen Rossi. Yeah, interesting. Just on Ronaldo, obviously not on the tour. James Robson said that Manchester United are powerless in the situation with Ronaldo. Simply because they don't have Champions League football. They can try everything they like, but they don't have Champions League football. They don't have ambition at the moment. I don't think Man United are powerless to keep Ronaldo if they'd shown ambition. Champions League was always a problem, but they don't show ambition. A few names absent. Phil Jones is following a training programme. Brandon Williams has got a knock. Show Retire and Alvaro Fernandez are up for loan, so that's why they're not going. That doesn't mean that some others won't be up for loan, but they're definitely up for loan. That's why Show Retiri and Alvaro Fernandez are not there. Brandon Williams not going is quite interesting. It's a bit of a blow if you like Brandon, because he would need to be on that. I think he's up for sale anyway. The players I've been told that are up for sale are Eric Bailly, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Axel Twansebi, Brandon Williams, Alex Tellez, obviously Andreas Pereira. Those players are definitely up for sale. And if Brandon Williams is up for sale and he's not going on the tour because he's got an injury, then that's a bit of a problem. Don't know about Mengi. Good point. That's a player I was thinking about. Don't know what happened with Mengi. Has he got an injury? Is he up for sale? Is he on loan? Don't know. Garnacho is in the squad, Kevin. Yes. Will any new signings be in the squad? Mate, absolutely no chance. It's 20-3. in the UK. They're on the flight at 4:30. You've got to be at the airport with the current security issues about 20 hours before. We haven't announced a new signing. They're not going on the tour. And remember, we play in Bangkok on Tuesday night, and then we're playing in Melbourne, Australia on Friday. So maybe if we get a signing done over the weekend, they get on a plane and they join us up in Australia. But as I said this morning, I don't think Frankie de Jong, even if we do sign him, will ever be on that tour. I think he'll be waiting for them when they come back. Looking at the list, our midfield is crying out for attention. We seriously need 2 central midfielders who are skilled at dictating the game, says Endiv. One new signing on the tour, says Luke, and he can't believe it. No, it is interesting. Ericsson's not going to make it. He's not done his medical yet. Some people saying the squad's pathetic. I've seen pathetic squads, if that's the word, before, but it's normally when we've just had the Euros or the World Cup and everyone's on extended holiday and you see a load of reserves and young players. I mean, that squad for a no World Cup or Euros summer, it's not good enough. Like, you think about Liverpool next week, I presume they'll have all their good players. Like, unless they've given an extended holiday to Salah or something like that, which they might have done. When Man City and Liverpool are going on tour, they're taking their best squads, aren't they? Unless they've not bought anybody yet, like, they're going to go with strong squads. Our squad looks very depleted, but it's not depleted. It's just what we've got. People think it's a weak squad because we've still got to bring players in. Well, there's no guarantee that these players are coming in at the moment, is there? Mark, do you think delay on Frankie de Jong deal means we don't get a CDM or other midfielders, says Ryan? Yeah, probably. I don't know. Martial is on the tour, Spencer. Yes, he is. Martial is there. As is Tahith Chong. You know, Chong's an interesting one. I actually said about Chong a month ago. People are like, get rid of Chong. I think you could get 10 million for Chong, but he's Dutch. You know, he might be exactly what Erik ten Hag likes, so we'll see. Let's see what happens. Anyway, look, I'm playing FIFA in about half an hour, so I better get off. Thanks everyone for watching. We're back at 8 o'clock tonight, unless something happens, but you know, I was told this morning there's no way United will release a kit without having a big announcement, but it's very quiet around United at the moment, and I wouldn't be surprised if nothing does happen until 8 o'clock show tonight. We'll see. Make sure you check out the members section. If you are a member, we've got the Lisandro Martinez video. I think you'll really enjoy it. If you want to get excited about Lisandro Martinez, watch that video. Deep dive stats comparing him into Maguire and Varane and Lindelof. If you want to become a member, you can click the join button. Thanks everyone who does that. We'll be back at 8 o'clock. Take care, everyone. If you want to join me on FIFA, I'm going to be playing on Twitch. I might get the sack. I'm crap this season. I'm not doing well. Thank you very much. Speak to you.